I guess you could say I closed a chapter of my youth, but not when it made any damn sense to. Not when it would have done me any good. I was 33 when it happened. Married, stable job, small house outside Raleigh. Been with Cassie since we were 22. Met in college, married 2 years later. She was everything I thought I wanted. Smart, kind, pretty in that quiet kind of way. We were that couple people called solid, safe, predictable. For a while it worked. We did all the usual stuff. Saved for a house, got a dog, Friday takeout and Netflix, Sunday morning pancakes. Her family loved me. Mine tolerated her. No kids, though, not by choice. That was the first crack, I think. 2 years trying, then a lot of silence. She took it harder than I did, or at least she showed it more. Started withdrawing, long baths, early bedtimes, crying behind closed doors but not wanting to talk about it. I went the other way, buried myself in work, started golfing more, even though I hated golf. Anything to stay busy, avoid home. We didn't fight much. That was the strange part. Just slowly stopped being around each other, even when we were in the same room. She'd read her books, I'd stare at my phone. We shared space, but not life. Then came the night I found out. It was a Thursday, late June. I remember because the AC was broken and the house felt like a sauna. I came home early from a canceled meeting, walked in, and she was on the phone, whispering. She jumped like she'd been caught robbing a bank. I asked who it was. She said, "Nobody." Then followed up with, "Just a friend from school." But her eyes were wide and her hand was shaking. I didn't push right away. I wanted to believe her. I really did. But something was off. So the next day I checked the phone bill. Don't ask me why I remembered we shared an account. Hours of calls to one number. Texts late at night when I was asleep next to her. I plugged the number into Google. Got a name. Josh. Some guy she used to work with before she changed jobs. I didn't go nuclear. I didn't scream. I just waited till that weekend, then asked her straight up, "Are you sleeping with him?" She didn't say no, didn't say anything at first, just looked down at her feet like a kid caught cheating on a test. Eventually she nodded. I felt something inside me split. Not loud, not dramatic, just a quiet snap. She said it started months ago, that it wasn't about him, it was about feeling alone, that she didn't want to hurt me, that she didn't mean for it to go this far. All the lines you expect to hear when your life's falling apart. I moved into a motel that night, cheap place off the interstate with a broken vending machine and a TV that only showed static unless you hit it just right. The depression hit hard and fast. First few days I didn't eat, then I drank. Then I drank more. Started missing work, ignored calls, stared at the ceiling of that motel room, wondering how the hell I'd gotten there. How everything I thought was solid turned to ash in the span of one bad conversation. Cassie texted, called, said she was sorry, said it was over with him, said she wanted to fix things. I didn't respond. I just sat there, stuck in my own head, thinking about how dumb I was to believe any of it was permanent. That kind of pain, it changes you, makes you cold, makes you doubt everything, even the good parts. I was in that motel for 6 weeks before I moved into a short-term apartment. Still didn't feel like home. Just 4 walls and a bed I didn't share with anyone. I wasn't ready to start over. Hell, I didn't even want to get up in the morning. But I did. Eventually. By the time I moved into that short-term place, I wasn't much of a person. Just a guy going through the motions. Wake up, go to work if I could get out of bed. Microwave something frozen. Sit in the dark. Think too much. Fall asleep around 3 a.m. That was the cycle. People at work noticed. My boss called me in and asked if I needed time off. I said no. He nodded like he didn't believe me, but didn't push. I didn't tell anyone what happened. Not really. My brother called once, said he heard I moved out, asked if things were okay. I just said, "We're going through some stuff." He said, "Let me know if you need anything." I said, "Yeah," knowing I wouldn't. Weekends were the worst. Nothing to distract you. No meetings, no traffic. Just that silence that hums so loud it hurts your ears. I stopped checking social media. Couldn't stand seeing other couples smiling, posting anniversary posts. Cassie didn't post anything. She just went quiet, deleted some pictures. That hurt more than I expected, like we'd never happened. One Sunday I tried to drive to the beach, just wanted to feel far away from everything. Made it halfway there, pulled over, and cried in a Waffle House parking lot for 20 minutes. Then turned around and drove home. I was sinking and nobody knew. Not really, but I didn't want to be pitied. That was the worst part. The idea that people might look at me like I was something to feel sorry for. So I smiled when I had to. Cracked jokes, said I'm doing okay, like it was a fact, not a lie. Around month 3, I started walking every evening. Just around the block, then a little further each week. Not for fitness, just needed to move. One night I walked past this coffee shop I'd never noticed before. Small place, old sign, barely lit inside. For whatever reason, I walked in, ordered a black coffee, sat near the window, watched people come and go. No idea why, but it felt still. Not good, but better than where I'd been. That became a thing. Every Wednesday night, I'd go there. Same coffee, same seat. After a few weeks, the girl behind the counter started recognizing me. Her name was Jenna, early 30s maybe. Always had her hair in a messy bun and wore these loud earrings that didn't match anything else she had on. She didn't ask questions, just smiled, made the coffee, sometimes added a free cookie if it was slow. That small kindness, it hit me, more than it should have. One night she said, "Rough week?" I nodded. She said, "Yeah, me too." Didn't say anything else, just that. But it was the first time in months I felt like someone saw me. Not as a failure, not as the guy whose wife cheated, just a person. We didn't talk much after that. Little things here and there. Weather, music, the stupid town parking meters. Nothing deep. But I started going back more often, not just Wednesdays. Sometimes Fridays after work, Sunday mornings. I wasn't looking for anything. Romance wasn't even on the radar. I just liked being around her. Liked that she remembered my order. That she'd nod at me when I walked in like we had some kind of quiet agreement. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel invisible. Didn't feel whole either. But not invisible was a start. Jenna and I didn't become friends in the usual way. There were no big confessions, no heart-to-hearts over candlelight. It just grew, slowly, quietly, like moss on a rock. I kept showing up. She kept being there. And somewhere in that routine, something changed. She started sitting with me during her break. Not every time, but enough that I noticed. We'd talk about small stuff. Her landlord, her car that wouldn't start, the regulars who left bad Yelp reviews over the size of a croissant. She was funny, dry, a little bitter in a way that made her feel real. One night I mentioned something about not sleeping much, and she said, "Bad dreams?" I said, "No dreams, just the wait." She nodded, like she knew what that meant. Then she said, "I was married once." That caught me off guard. She didn't give details, just said, "Didn't end well," and looked down at her chipped nail polish like it held the rest of the story. We didn't talk about it again for weeks, but I never forgot it. Then one night, out of nowhere, she asked, "Do you believe in second chances?" It hit me harder than it should have. I didn't answer right away. Finally, I said, "I used to." She just nodded. Fair. After that, things got easier between us. Not because we talked about the heavy stuff, but because we didn't need to. There was this silent understanding. Two people who'd been through some shit, but were still showing up anyway. I didn't think of her as the girl at the coffee shop anymore. She was Jenna. She made me feel like I mattered again, like maybe I wasn't broken beyond repair. The real turning point happened on a Thursday. I showed up late. Rough day. My car broke down, had to get it towed, missed a deadline at work, and my boss was breathing down my neck. When I walked in, she saw it on my face. No smile, no greeting. She poured the coffee without asking and sat down across from me. "What happened?" she asked. And I just told her. All of it. The job stress, the loneliness, the silence in my apartment that got so loud some nights I'd turn on the TV just to hear voices. She didn't say much, just listened. Then she said, "You ever think maybe this isn't the end of something? Maybe it's the middle?" That line stuck with me. I walked home that night thinking about it. The middle, not the end. A few days later, I asked if she wanted to grab dinner, not at the coffee shop, somewhere else, somewhere that wasn't part of the routine. She said yes. We went to this little Italian place a few blocks down, shared a bottle of wine, talked for 3 hours, laughed more than I thought I could. I walked her to her car, didn't try anything, just said, "Thanks." She smiled and said, "This was nice." I went home and sat on my couch, staring at the ceiling, and for the first time in months, I felt, okay, not great, not healed, but okay, like maybe, just maybe, something good could still happen. After that dinner, things didn't jump into some whirlwind romance. That's not how it went. Jenna wasn't like that, and I wasn't ready. But something had shifted. She started texting me now. Just little things. "Rain's coming early. Don't forget your hood." Or, "We got a new kind of muffin in. Probably trash, come judge it." Stuff like that. And I started texting back. We didn't call it dating. We didn't even talk about it much. But every couple weeks, we'd get dinner. Walk around town. She showed me a bookstore she liked. I helped her carry a new shelf up to her second-floor apartment. Things like that. I was still a mess, though. Make no mistake. There were nights I'd lie awake and think about Cassie. Not because I missed her, but because I couldn't understand how she did it, how she looked me in the eye all those nights while she was with someone else, how I didn't see it. Jenna never asked about her, not once. I think she knew I'd bring it up when I was ready. One night I did. We were sitting on her tiny balcony, drinking something cheap and cold out of mason jars. It was warm out, early summer, and I just said it. My wife cheated on me. That's why I left. She didn't flinch, didn't pity me, just nodded. Then she said, "He cheated on me too." That was it. No dramatic music, no long story, just two facts hanging between us like laundry left out to dry. From that point on, we got a little closer. Still no labels, still no expectations, but we spent more time together. She came over. I cooked for her, badly. She made fun of me for burning garlic. I laughed for real for the first time in God knows how long. What mattered most, though, was that she didn't try to fix me. She didn't give pep talks, didn't tell me I'd be okay. She just sat next to me, showed up, let me be sad when I needed to be, let me smile when it came without warning. That space, her giving me that space, it meant more than I could explain. Meanwhile, Cassie signed the divorce papers. No big fight, no final showdown. Just a manila envelope in my mailbox with her signature on the dotted lines. That night, Jenna brought over a six-pack, and we sat on the floor of my apartment eating pizza. I told her the papers came. She said, "How do you feel?" I didn't know. Still don't, really. Free? Maybe. Empty? Yeah, that too. She leaned her head on my shoulder and said, "Let's just exist tonight." So we did. We just sat there, two people with scarred hearts and no answers, sharing a couch that squeaked every time we moved. And for once, that was enough. By the fall, Jenna and I were something. Still didn't have a word for it. We weren't in love, not yet. But we weren't strangers anymore either. We'd fallen into each other's orbit, and neither of us was trying to break free. I was still catching up with myself. The pieces of the guy I used to be, they didn't just fall back into place. Some were missing, some didn't fit anymore. But I was trying, waking up early, working out a little, eating real meals. Jenna had a hand in that, even if she didn't know it. When you know someone's going to show up, you start showing up too. One night I asked her why she kept talking to me back when I could barely form a sentence. She looked at me and said, "Because you were still there, even if you didn't know it." I didn't know what to say to that. She never made me feel like a project, and I'd been a mess when we met. Still kind of was. But she saw something in me I hadn't seen in months. Someone worth sitting next to. We started spending most weekends together. She'd stay at my place Friday through Sunday. I bought better coffee. She taught me how to cook rice without it coming out like wallpaper paste. There were hiccups, of course. One night, I woke up from a nightmare. Cassie yelling, accusing me of everything under the sun. I sat up, sweating, heart pounding. Jenna rolled over, half asleep, and just placed a hand on my back. Didn't say it's okay. Didn't try to make it better. Just let me know I wasn't alone. That meant everything. Some days I still felt guilt, not just over the marriage falling apart, but for feeling happy again. Like I wasn't supposed to, like it was too soon, or I hadn't earned it. But Jenna never rushed me, never asked where we were heading. She just stayed. I told her I wasn't ready for anything official. She nodded and said, "I'm not going anywhere." I didn't deserve that kind of grace. But there it was. Around Thanksgiving, my brother called, invited me to dinner. First time since everything happened. I said I'd bring someone. He said, "Really, right?" And I said, "Yeah." Jenna was nervous, picked at her nails the whole car ride, but she charmed them, told my brother's kid jokes about raccoons, and made my sister-in-law laugh so hard she snorted. After dinner, while I was helping load dishes, my brother said, "She's good for you." I just nodded. Because yeah, she was. And maybe for the first time in a long time, I was starting to feel good for her too. The thing about moving on is sometimes the past doesn't want to stay buried. It was late January when Cassie called. I hadn't heard her voice in almost a year. The number popped up on my screen, and for a second I thought maybe it was a mistake. But I answered. Old reflex, I guess. She said, "Hey," like no time had passed. I said, "What's going on?" There was a pause, then she said, "I don't know why I'm calling." But she did. We both knew. She started talking about random stuff, how she saw one of our old neighbors, how she passed the Thai place we used to order from. All of it was surface level, but underneath, I could feel something pulling. Then she said, "I've been thinking about you." I didn't respond. She asked if I was seeing anyone. I said, "Yeah." She got quiet. After a while, she said, "I'm glad. You always deserve better than what I gave you." That one caught me off guard. I didn't say anything, just waited. She said, "I wasn't happy, but I shouldn't have done it like that. I just didn't know how to leave." And there it was, the truth I never got back then. I told her I appreciated the call, that I hoped she was doing okay, that I'd moved on. She said, "Yeah, me too. I just wanted to say sorry." Then she hung up. I sat there for a long time after that, staring at the wall, not because I wanted her back. I didn't, but because some part of me had waited to hear those words, even if I didn't know it. When I told Jenna about it, she didn't flinch, just said, "That chapter's closed. Let it stay closed." And I did. After that, things with Jenna got easier. Like we'd passed some invisible checkpoint. I started opening up more. Told her about the things I missed, not just the marriage, but the idea of it, the stability, the certainty. Even if it was false, she understood, never judged. One night, she left her toothbrush at my place without saying anything. Another night, I cleared out a drawer for her. We didn't talk about the future in big sweeping terms. No plans for weddings or kids or matching Christmas sweaters. Just small, steady steps, like building a house with your hands after the storm takes everything. My apartment started to feel like home. I started to feel like someone again. I got promoted at work, bought a new couch, painted the walls. Things that would have seemed pointless a year ago now felt like progress. And Jenna, she was still there, still making dumb jokes, still bringing over bad wine and good music, still showing up. It's been 2 years since everything came apart. 2 years since the motel, the breakdown, the black coffee and silence. 2 years since I stopped pretending I was fine. And I won't say everything's perfect now. It's not, but it's better, steadier. The kind of life where you breathe easier, even when nothing special's happening. Jenna and I still don't call it anything fancy. We just live. Weekends together, weekdays with check-in texts and last-minute dinners. She still works at the coffee shop, says it keeps her grounded. I still do logistics. It's dull, but it pays the bills, and I'm not trying to climb anymore. We moved in together last spring. Just made sense. 2 rents turned into 1. 2 grocery lists became shared fridge space. Her cat took over the couch. I got a drawer full of her tea bags I never touch. Some nights we sit on the balcony and say nothing for an hour. And somehow that silence means more than all the talking I used to do trying to hold a broken marriage together. Cassie's remarried now. I saw it on Facebook. Some guy from her old office, I think. They had a beach wedding. Her smile looked real. That didn't sting like I thought it would. I hope she's happy. I don't think about her much anymore. When I do, it's just a fact, like remembering an old address or the name of a teacher from high school. That part of my life is over. I still carry the weight of it, though. Not like before, more like a scar than a wound. It's there, but it doesn't bleed anymore. Jenna asked me once if I'd do it all differently, if I could go back. I said, yeah, I'd speak up sooner, tell the truth when I started feeling alone. But I also told her, if I changed all that, I probably never would have met you. She smiled, didn't say anything. Some mornings I wake up and she's already in the kitchen, dancing to some song from the 90s, half singing into a spatula. And I just stand there in the doorway, watching. Not because it's a big romantic moment, but because it's simple, because it's good. I never believed I'd get to feel that again. That quiet kind of good. The kind you don't have to earn or chase or beg for. Just two people choosing each other, day after day. No big finale, no fireworks, just peace. And after everything, that's more than enough.